Digest, your weekly show that covers a wide range of business-related issues which include market trends, economic developments, as well as analysis from different experts. In today's episode, we'll be talking to Mr. Charles Siwawa, who is the Botswana Chamber of Mines CEO. Mr. Siwawa, welcome to our studio, sir.
Thank you very much.
Kindly tell our viewers about yourself, sir.
Well, firstly, I want to greet all your viewers and listeners this morning. A wonderful morning. It's cold outside, but still very warm inside here. My name is Charles Siwawa. I'm the head of Botswana Chamber of Mines, which is an organization set up by the mining companies to look after the processes in terms of mining, to ensure that there is a smooth operation and friendly operations of the mines in vis-a-vis the legislation and other non-governmental organizations that we have in the country and abroad.
Okay, sir. So we're here to talk about the Local Manufacturing Summit, sir. So what exactly is the Local Manufacturing Summit?
As the name says, it's a manufacturing summit, but its focus is on local manufacturers. And the idea is to build up the local manufacturing in Botswana to give it the impetus to participate in the economy of the country. Basically, you want to show other viewers and other interested parties that manufacturing is not only feasible, but it's also profitable in Botswana.
Okay, sir. What are the objectives of the summit?
The objectives is to showcase those companies that are already manufacturing in Botswana, to discuss policies that guide the manufacturing process in Botswana, and to talk to those potential manufacturers to entice them into the sector of manufacturing in Botswana.
Okay, sir. What is the level of interest are you noting in the summit compared to the last one?
There's not been a wide difference in terms of level of participation. We're seeing similar levels of participation, but the angle might change. Whereas I think last year we had significant number of textiles, maybe this year we are swinging more to earth-moving equipment that is being manufactured in Botswana by Botswana for use at our mines.
Okay, sir. Were you satisfied with the attendance last year?
The attendance was very good at last year's local manufacturing summit. We are hoping that the numbers will be matched or even improved upon, because the topics of discussion are as wide as we had last year and as interesting as we had last year. So the issue is really to say to Botswana, even if you don't have an interest, a direct interest in manufacturing, come and have a look at what the manufacturing sector in Botswana is doing. And I think that way it will also sharpen your interests to be able to participate in manufacturing in Botswana.
Okay, sir. So manufacturing is one of the sectors that has struggled to grow over the decades. In your view, what are the challenges?
Okay. You can divide, first and foremost, I think we have to understand that manufacturing is a long-term project. Unlike perhaps, trying to open up a retail, facility where you trade in goods today that you've got from elsewhere, and you make a profit, and then you continue to build up a business in that way. Manufacturing takes time to build up your name and also to be able to get your goods to the markets. You can divide manufacturing in three parts. One is the acquisition of raw materials, and the second is actually processing those raw materials into finished products. And the third is to get that or those finished products to the market. And that is where the three functions, each one of them has got its own challenges. And we've figured out that, for instance, in terms of raw materials, we do not necessarily have raw materials in Botswana. So we compete with other countries in the acquisition of raw materials, primarily from China. I think that's where a lot of these raw materials are coming from. And of course, we have our own neighbor in the south, in South Africa, where some of these raw materials are coming from. And then when it comes to the processing of those raw materials, the challenge is the technical skills, the ability to produce whatever you want to produce to the standards that you want, and then being able to get those standards to be sustainable across your manufacturing unit. And then, of course, as you manufacture, you require capital, which is finance. And then, of course, most of our financial institutions are now trending into wanting to get involved in the manufacturing process. And then lastly, which is getting your finished products to the market. And that is where also is another challenge, because you need the right transport to get your goods to the market at the right time to be able to access the markets.
We're going for a quick commercial break. When you come back, Mr. Siwawa will share more insights about the manufacturing industry in our country.
Have you downloaded BW News app? Your one-stop shop for Botswana's leading newspapers. If not, what are you waiting for? Start reading the print editions of Botswana's leading newspapers as they appear in the newspapers on any device. The BW News app features the Midweek Sun, Botswana Guardian, Mehi, and the Monitor, updated in an easy-to-flip-through format once the papers are printed. Our packages include current affairs, which creates seamless access for one organizational setup. You can add up to 100 users at affordable rates. After subscription, you will have access to our PDF archive from the past 1 year. You will also receive notifications on your phone as soon as the newspapers publish. You can open your favorite title and share it in text format, and also change the font size and screen light to your choosing. Too busy to flip through and read? The BW News app will read the article for you, and it can also translate from English to the language you're comfortable with. Get the BW News app from the Google Play Store and the App Store and enter a world of up-to-date news presented as it appears in the physical paper.
Welcome back from the break. In studio, we're still with Mr. Siwawa. Mr. Siwawa, before we go for the break, you're talking about the challenges that manufacturing sector is facing. What can be done to address those challenges?
Yes, a couple of issues that we can try to address the challenges, and it's going to be challenges that we can do ourselves as the private sector, and some of them we can resolve in partnership with the government. And I think one of the challenges, you see, firstly, Botswana has got a very low population for manufacturing. So if you manufacture whatever you want to manufacture, you'll probably find that the market gets saturated very quickly because the population is small. So it cannot support a lot of manufacturing bases. So the idea is to tap into the international market. Firstly, the regional, and then continental, and then, of course, the international market, which is the world over. And the issue to be able to compete in the regional as well as the international markets is to get your standards right. We currently have Botswana Bureau of Standards, BOBS. And whenever we engage people who are starting up in terms of manufacturing, we would like them to be attached to Botswana Bureau of Standards so that they can learn and understand the standards that they have to meet in order to get their products not only in Botswana but outside of Botswana. This is one significant thing that we've done with all our local manufacturing the companies that are in Botswana to be able to understand what the international market is looking for in terms of standards. I know there was one issue that we had. This particular company started manufacturing stuff, but when they now wanted to go to Botswana Bureau of Standards, we had to start the whole process, because BOPS wants to start with you as you start manufacturing, so that they can understand your standards a little bit better. So the issue is the understanding of the standards, because you are not going to be selling in Botswana only, you are also going to look at regional as well as international markets, where now you'll be competing against all these other products in the market that come to you. That's the first. The second issue that you have to look at, as I indicated earlier, our financial institutions are now gearing themselves up to supporting the manufacturing sector. Yes, it was there before. We had various government schemes that were supporting manufacturing sectors, but we're now also seeing the financial institutions, the private financial institutions, getting into the bandwagon to support the manufacturing sector, and it has really helped in terms of getting our infant industry to start the manufacturing process. And the third is your access to the market, which is now your transport issues. And we are getting companies that are now keen to transport these goods that we've manufactured here to the outside market.
Okay, so why is it important to grow this manufacturing sector?
On two fronts. One is that manufacturing as a sector has got the preponderance to put jobs on the table for this country. Per capita, or if you put 100 million pula in a manufacturing company, and you put the same 100 million pula to start up a retail store, for instance, you'll find that you create more jobs in the manufacturing sector than you would if you were opening up a retail unit. So it's important that we are able to create these manufacturing entities to be able to absorb the unemployment figures that we have right now, so that we can reduce the unemployment that we have in the country. Okay. That's one. Second, currently manufacturing contributes 6% to the GDP of this country, and we should not look at it as that previous efforts have not yielded any results. They have. The 6% is commendable, but I think we would like to push that to something that is a little bit higher than the 6% contribution to the GDP. So on those two fronts, we believe it is important to get the manufacturing sector up and going.
Okay. Would you say there's appetite in our entrepreneurs to start manufacturing? Yes.
The appetite is there. We've seen quite a few potential manufacturers coming to our offices wanting to understand how they can jump on the bandwagon of manufacturing. But you have to have the commitment. It's not, like I mentioned earlier, that you start your factory today and tomorrow you're already making multi-million pula for your organization. You need some processes, a staged process to be able to grow your manufacturing company. Usually, people come to our office and we say to them, look, what is it that you want to do? Because we cannot choose for you what to manufacture. You must have the appetite and the commitment to manufacture. So normally we give them the import bill, that goods that we import into Botswana, and we say, have a look at this, and whatever you believe you can manufacture from this process. And it's thousands and thousands of goods that you can manufacture, and of course it's billions of pula that we spend on importing these goods. And we say to yourself, go and look at what makes you more comfortable in manufacturing, and we'll help you to set up your manufacturing unit.
Okay, sir. So you mentioned that they're coming to the office. So are the numbers satisfactory?
I think we could do more.
Okay.
we could do more because I think that we have the capacity to get people to come in and manufacture for this country. We've had successes, and not necessarily from ourselves as the chamber, but from others, centers as well. You've got BEMA, Botswana Exporters and Manufacturers Association, that are also assisting in terms of getting the manufacturing sector going. And some of the manufacturing units that we have, or the companies that have started, are already exporting their products to the region, some internationally. You have earth-moving equipment being manufactured in Francistown, and they are exporting to South Africa, to Zimbabwe, to Russia, to Argentina, that type of thing. And we have also another entity that is manufacturing industrial gases. They're already using the African Free Trade Agreement to export to the likes of Namibia, DRC, and Nigeria. And it's working very well for those particular companies.
It's quite interesting to hear that we have Botswana that are really exporting out there.
Yes.
So we'll continue this conversation. We're going for a quick commercial break. When we come back, Mr. Siwawa is going to share more insights about manufacturing in the industry.
Do you want to stay in touch with the up-to-the-minute breaking news countrywide, regional and international coverage, as well as in-depth analysis from Botswana's most trusted media house? Then head over to www.megi.bw, where you can also enjoy access to premium articles, long reads, features, and exclusive opinions. Whether you're looking for updates on politics, health, education, business, and the economy, or sports, and many more, we have you covered. Sign up on the website and choose a package suitable for you. We also have packages for organizations at affordable rates. Visit www.megi.bw and enjoy the finest journalism and news you need to know.
Welcome back. Mr. Siwawa, you were still talking about how Botswana Chamber of Mines is helping to grow the industry. Yes, sir. So can you give more detail about that as well?
Some years ago, we had discussions with the government of Botswana, looking at how the mining industry, whilst it's known that it's the backbone of Botswana's economy, and the government was saying, how else can you help the government of Botswana to grow the economy? And we looked around and we said, look, we are going to use our combined purchasing power as the mines to assist citizens to supply goods into the mining industry. And we agreed, as all the mining companies, to say, let's try and purchase goods from within Botswana, by locals in the country. But we also then realized we can add more value on that philosophy by getting the goods to be manufactured in Botswana. Because in the past, a citizen would go out, get the goods from outside of Botswana and come and sell it to the mining companies. But we're saying, no, let's look now at trying to get the companies here to manufacture the goods and sell them to the mining industry. Because if you sell, as I indicated, if you sell to one mining company, you might not be able to support that manufacturing company. But if you then if you are producing industrial gases, for instance, as I mentioned earlier, and you sell it to all the mining companies, you are able to support that manufacturing entity. So this is exactly what we are doing. We want to support manufacturers in the country by purchasing from all those companies that are producing goods in this country. And we've done so. We've been successful in a couple of other products that are being produced in this country. And we've managed to get these companies to grow in terms of the products that they have. I can tell you as an example, Whilst the company was producing and I don't want to name the company because I think this is not the aim. The aim is really to talk about, and I'll talk about it in different terms, and say they were producing a certain product. They were producing pipes of a certain diameter, and we said, look, your diameter is too small. We want you to produce these pipes, but we want them to be of a larger diameter because those can find a lot of uses within the mining industry. They listened and they set up a factory not very far from here in Ramotswa. And that factory now employs, in excess of 50 graduates from BUST to actually look after this manufacturing center. So we think that other than them getting a contract to supply these pipes to the mining industry, we've also contributed to this employment issue by getting these graduates. We're talking high-level graduates who are now employed at this particular factory.
Okay, sir. So how successful has Botswana Chamber of Mines been in regards to growing the manufacturing industry?
We have been very successful. It is one of those that I'm talking about. We're talking about this company that's manufacturing industrial gases from Silver Pico. We've managed that. There's other textile industries that we have managed to start and grow and supply the mining industry. And what we've also said is that let's not only look at the mining sector, because if you are producing an electric pump, for instance, and I'll talk about that electric pump when we come to the other section. If you are producing an electric pump to pump water in the mine, right, you can still use the same pump to pump water at water utilities. You can use the same electric pump to pump water at Botswana Meat Commission. So it's not just limited to the mining sector. You can also, therefore, sell your products to other industries outside of mining. So we think that we've made some success in that regard.
Okay, sir. So some people believe that as we open up to trade deals, we might be risking our infant industries. So how do we open up but still protect them?
I want to turn that question around.
Okay.
And say we must open up and utilize the experience from other industries outside of Botswana to set up in Botswana and tag along the infant industry such that your learning curve is a lot shorter. Because if you get, and I go back to the issue of pumps, we are now talking to a pump manufacturer outside of Botswana. They want to come into Botswana to manufacture pumps and sell to the mining industry. But as they come into Botswana, we link them up with a citizen so that the citizen can then gain skills out of that manufacturing process. And eventually, over time, they might take over that company and run it themselves. So I want to turn the question around and say, look, yes, there is apprehension of opening up to international manufacturers, but there's also a positive end, which is the benefit that our citizen manufacturers can get by linking up with this. Because at the end, when you now sell your products to the mining industry in Botswana, or indeed any other sector in Botswana, what you want to know before you purchase is this thing, has it been manufactured in Botswana? If you tick yes, was there a citizen involved in this manufacturing process, either as a shareholder or as an employee? And we want to now emphasize on shareholding that it's got to be citizen-owned or part of.
Okay, sir. So where would you like to see the summit going forward?
The summit should grow in stature, such that we can get as many people as possible within Botswana to manufacture. And we are wanting to say not only in Botswana, but we must also attract international manufacturers. In this particular issue, in the second local manufacturing summit next week, we also want to bring not only our local speakers, but we also want to bring international speakers. There's a country in SADC, Lesotho. They've been very successful in their textiles being exported to America through the AGOA model. And we are bringing one of the people from Lesotho to come and say to our textile industry, this is how we've been successful to access the American market. Why can't Botswana do the same? Yes, we know that Botswana, we have access to AGOA, but it has not been as successful as the Lesotho model. So we want to see how those have been doing. We are also bringing somebody from Namibia to come and talk to us about the utilization of Walvis Bay as a port of entry and exit of goods once they've been manufactured. Because I think it's one port that perhaps we've not focused a lot in terms of utilizing that particular port, but it's one of the most efficient ports in SADC to use for the products as they come out and the raw materials as it comes in.
Okay, Siwawa, your final words on manufacturing, the summit, and the broader economy.
The second local manufacturing summit will take place at GICC, Gaborone International Conference Center in Gaborone. And there will be all types of people out there. You'll have people who are doing policies on manufacturing, you'll have manufacturers themselves, you'll have retailers, and so forth. So there's a wide scope of people who are going to be there. So I'm encouraging anybody who has an inkling into manufacturing to participate in that particular summit. The tickets are still available, both for patronage as well as for exhibition. And sponsorship is also open for anybody who wants to sponsor anything for the summit. I think there will be a lot of issues there that are going to be discussed. And if you really are interested somehow into manufacturing, please come, and you will be able to talk to the financiers, for your project, talk to the market. We have Citizen Economic Empowerment Act, and primarily it is to say, let us manufacture as citizens and get the products to the market, and that's really what we want to achieve. All the mines in Botswana have subscribed to this issue of citizen economic empowerment, particularly in terms of manufacturing. So they will all be there, these mines, to talk to anybody who is there about how they can access their procurement processes in terms of the goods that they want to sell to the mines. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Siwawa, for coming to the studio. Catch him at the second edition of the Local Manufacturing Summit that will be held at GICC on Tuesday. From me and my team, until next time.